Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
Thank you for listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast, where we discuss everything in the wide world of soccer, including the top games and competitions from all around the world. I am Ben.
I'm Alex. What's up, man?
What is going on?
Oh, just loving some soccer.
Oh, as am I, my
excited
friend.
to talk about it.
As am I as well. We have a busy show for you today.
Yep.
We're talking about the Champions League from Tuesday and Wednesday of last week. Update on the tables as well. Got to talk about some results over the weekend, some games upcoming. We have the MLS playoffs released after yesterday's conclusion to the regular season. And then we have the Golden Boy Award winner announced today, as well as the 30-man shortlist for the Ballon d'Or award. That will be...
That's not a short list.
Well, it's
30 people.
And then it'll get cut. And honestly, I think it comes down to two players. You could imagine who they are. So
I have an idea of who they might be.
The last 8 years, it's come down to either Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. So you would imagine one of those two is definitely going to be the favorite. I will give my prediction as well as Alex.
Yep.
And we will talk about that as well. But we're still going to reveal the short list of the 30 names. We're still getting a grip of who is on this list. We have 25 names out, so they are revealing 5 players every couple hours. So we still don't have all the list filled, but we have a majority of them. So we'll talk about that and who is making the list and recap of their seasons, just kind of the last year. And that award will be announced in January. So still a couple of months for people to vote and everything. And it'll get trimmed again. So with that being said, Alex, let's talk about the Champions League Matchday 3.
Let's do it. You start with Tuesday, I'll do Wednesday. We keep going back and forth every time.
Boom. Okay. So on Tuesday, we had Leicester City defeat Copenhagen 1-0. We had Monaco and Moscow draw at 1-1. We had Real Madrid absolutely destroy Legia Warsaw 5-1. We had Juventus defeat Lyon 1-0. We had Dortmund defeat Sporting Lisbon 2-1. Bayer Leverkusen and Tottenham with a very unentertaining 0-0 draw.
You can say that.
Sevilla defeat Dinamo Zagreb 1-0. Porto defeat Club Brugge 2-1.
Yeah, and that's all of Tuesday's matchups. We moved to Wednesday, which was definitely the stronger day in terms of matchups. We had Barcelona defeating Man City 4-0. Benfica over Dinamo Kiev 2-0. Besiktas over Napoli 3-2. PSG over FC Basel 3-0. Arsenal with a huge win over Ludogorets 6-0. I know Ben's happy about that one. Borussia Mönchengladbach 2-0 over the Scottish champion Celtic. Atletico Madrid over FC Rostov of Russia 1-0. And Bayern Munich of the Bundesliga over PSV Eindhoven 4-1.
All right, so let's talk about some of these games that stood out to us. So first, let's do Tuesdays. We mentioned last week on the show that we felt that Wednesday was going to be more of the headline day. Obviously, you look at Barcelona over City, which we'll talk about. But for me, the stand-away, take-out performance of Tuesday was definitely Leicester City defeating Copenhagen 1-0. Leicester City with 3 wins through 3 games now. So they sit atop of the group with 9 points. So Leicester City, when you look at them, as I said, they sit atop group. That is going to be group letter G. So they are at 9 points. And then you have Copenhagen and Porto with 4 and Bruges with 0.
I'll give an update on the standings when we get through the notable games.
Perfect.
Boom.
So with Leicester City, you look at their European form, and it's absolutely incredible. As we mentioned, 9 points. They have not even given up a goal. And they're scoring goals like crazy. Riyad Mahrez, through 3 games, has 3 goals and 1 assist. When you look at their European form and compare it to their Premier League form right now, it's literally night and day. So Leicester City, through 9 games in the Premier League now, they have 11 points.
Yeah, they got to really show up because they're not showing up after winning the Champions League, or the Premier League. They got to be like, well, it's our first night in the Champions League. Let's do some big stuff, you know?
They have 2 less points in 6 less games in the Champions League. I mentioned Riyad Mahrez with 3 goals and an assist in the Champions League. He has 1 goal and 1 assist in the Premier League this year.
Yeah, he's doing big time stuff.
Leicester City has not given up a goal through 3 games in the Champions League. If you compare that to the Premier League, it's quite the opposite. They've given up 15 goals. It's literally night and day. What do you attribute to sort of this sort of topsy-turvy form?
I don't know. Maybe the fact that they're playing teams that aren't as accustomed to them. We saw what they did last year, kind of shaking it up the way they played. Really that possession type game. And, they're playing teams that aren't, in the Premier League. They don't know them the same way. I think that maybe they might be taking a step back now because the teams had a year to prepare after facing Leicester City and their different kind of scheme, that these teams in the Champions League haven't had that year to prepare in the same way,
I definitely agree with exactly what you said. I was going to say the exact same thing. I think it's that some of these teams in Europe just really are not accustomed to the certain style that Leicester like to play with. They really like to press high, try to force you into turnovers, a 4-4-2 formation with 2 strikers, which Claudio Ranieri usually runs, which is not really accustomed to what most teams do. So I think they're just not really used to the style and speed that they're playing. And also I think it's just some of the competition as well. Like, no disrespect to Club Brugge, to Porto, and then also to Copenhagen. But they're not some of these teams that they're playing in the Premier League week in and week out. They're not really level as far as talent-wise. So I think it's a combination of both of those things. So Leicester now at 9 points, as we mentioned, a 5-point gap here with 3 points with 3 games left. You have to imagine that they're going to advance into the round of 16. Have to finish at least second in the group. Sit with 9 right now. I think they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Some more notable games for us on that on these days in there, Ben.
So definitely on Tuesday, Real Madrid and Dortmund both win, as we mentioned, so they will stay level in their respective group. We mentioned when we revealed the groups that they were going to be the heavy favorites in that group. And, and over Vorskla and Sporting Lisbon.
And they have.
And they definitely have. They're definitely backing it up. So now it's a matter of who can, in these last 3 games, who can sort of take that jump and take that edge into that first spot, because that's big. If you win the group, you're obviously playing a team that finished second in their respective group when you match up in the round of 16. So I think it comes down to really that game in Madrid. I think the game is in Madrid. The first matchup we saw between Dortmund and Real Madrid was in Germany. So that game at the Bernabeu is really going to be the difference to me as who can sort of separate themselves at the top of that group. So that'll be a big result when they end up playing.
It's very true. Moving to Wednesday.
Definitely. Wednesday, we mentioned Barcelona and Man City going into the show last week as the headliner, and it was not really much of a competitive game. Barcelona absolutely destroy Man City 4-0. You had a hat trick from Lionel Messi.
Who?
Lionel Messi. Have you heard of him?
No, it must be new.
I mean, he's been there for a few years now, maybe like 10, 11.
Bench guy?
In his earlier days, yeah, but he's finally working his way into the lineup.
He's finally getting in his due.
Getting in there.
Okay,
But
good to hear.
As we mentioned, so Barcelona 4-0, Messi with a hat trick. Claudio Bravo, former Barcelona keeper, now Man City keeper, he had a clunker, Alex. He gets sent off in the first half for a deliberate handball outside of the box. I saw the highlights of this game, and I tweeted this, and I go, are we sure that Bravo knows he's not playing for Barcelona anymore? Because he just literally gifted Barcelona a man advantage. He comes out of the box to try and, press a ball. He clears it right to Luis Suarez. Definitely a guy who's capable of scoring goals. So he's already out of the box.
Capable of a few things, yeah.
So Suarez attempts to chip Bravo, but Bravo's like, you know what? I'm just, going to go totally volleyball mode and just grab the ball out of the sky when he's deliberately out of the box and gets sent off. So they have
maybe he was just done.
So Barcelona have a man advantage up 1-0 at the time, and then you give a team like Barcelona a man advantage against anybody, and they're gonna really cost you.
They're gonna capitalize.
Messi has the hat trick. Neymar misses a penalty kick near the end of the game, but retaliates and scores there in the 90th minute. So when I saw this result, a lot of people refer to as Man City as the best team in England, if not one of the few best. So it's definitely really clear that the level of class between La Liga and some of these giants, and maybe the top team in England and some of these other top teams, is clearly a huge, huge gap. Barcelona absolutely destroyed Arsenal in the round of 16 last year. They beat Man City 4-0 now. I mean, it's definitely clear that skill level between some of the elites and some of the elites in England is definitely wide.
It's a pretty big margin.
Definitely.
I would say.
And then really the last couple of results, PSG beat Basel 3-0, as you said, so they stay level with Arsenal at 6-0 over Ludogorets, absolutely destroying Ludogorets. Mesut Ozil has a hat trick, his first hat trick as a professional player. On Arsenal's team, if you were to say someone had a hat trick, with the exception of a defender, I would say Ozil was probably the last guy, because he's at times probably too selfish, because he's always looking to make that extra pass. And not necessarily.
I wouldn't say selfish. I would say too selfless.
Right, and not necessarily attempt to score goals. But he scores 3 beautiful goals, actually. So Alexis Sanchez has a beautiful chip. Arsenal playing really, really well, especially in the Champions League. So 2 wins and a draw against PSG. And they will be battling Ludogorets in their next matchup away. So we'll talk about that next week when we preview the show. But Bayern Munich win 4-1. Atletico Madrid win 1-0, so they stay even in that group. Mönchengladbach defeats Celtic 2-0, but I think it's kind of too little, too late for them, but
let's
definitely good
cover
results.
let's cover the tables real quick, and we'll move on. So we are in Group A. Arsenal and PSG currently are locked 1 and 2 there, both with 7 points. But Arsenal is in first place, followed by Ludogorets and FC Basel at 4. We have Group B. We have Napoli in first over in Besiktas, Benfica and Dinamo Kiev in 6-5-4-1 in terms of points there for them. Barcelona is handedly in first place of Group C at 9. Man City behind them with 4 points. Borussia Mönchengladbach with 3, and Celtic with 1. Group D as follows: Atletico Madrid as well, certainly in first place with 9. Bayern Munich right there behind them with 6, and PSV Eindhoven and FC Rostov both with 1. Moving to Group E, Monaco is in first place over Tottenham, 5 points to 4 points. Followed by Bayer Leverkusen with 3, and CSK Moscow with 2. Moving to Group F, Real Madrid is in first place there with 7 points, but they are quickly being followed by Borussia Dortmund there with 7 as well. Sporting Lisbon at 3, and Legia Warsaw with no points to speak of. Leicester City is in the head of Group G, as Ben mentioned earlier, with 9 points. Copenhagen follows with 4, and Porto as well with 4. Club Brugge with 0 as we speak. And we move to Group H. Currently, as it stands, Juventus and Sevilla both at 7 points. Juventus in favor of the first spot there in the group. Lyon with 3, and Dinamo Zagreb with 0. So as we look at it currently, Group H, Group G, Group F, all have the bottom team with no points to speak of. Pretty sure how that's going to end up.
They're probably going to win the group then.
Probably going to win the group.
Win their last 3 games.
Exactly. Like we said, Ben and I are going to preview next episode the games, because we don't have games again until November 1st. So, of course, the week following,
our Halloween
episode, technically speaking, we will have a show on Halloween. So it might be hard to hear, understand me, because I'm going to have those old school vampire fangs in my mouth, just talking like this all the time. But it's going to be great.
It will be great.
And we're going to preview those games on Monday. But let's take our first break, Ben.
Let's do it.
Sound good to you?
It sounds really good.
All right. We will be right back here to talk more soccer in just a moment at the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back into the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. We are going to be talking about the Golden Boy Award, who was announced today. We have the winner, as well as some of the second, third, and fourth place votes. And then we also have the Ballon d'Or shortlist. It's a 30-man list, but we only have 25 names to speak of right now, so we'll talk about who we have revealed in that list, and then maybe some predictions as well. So first, let's talk about the Golden Boy Award winner, Alex. We have a first for a certain Portuguese player.
We do indeed. It's going to Renato Sanchez of Portugal and, more importantly, of Bayern Munich.
Definitely. So Renato Sanchez, the young 19-year-old, wins the award. Second place is Marcus Rashford. Third place is Kingsley Coman, also of Bayern Munich, the French winger. And then fourth is Dele Alli from Tottenham. Marcus Rashford plays for Manchester United and England. So
Yes, he does.
So definitely we have Renato Sanchez. As I said, he's the first Portuguese player to win that. Think about certain legacy Portuguese soccer players have had. Obviously, you have Cristiano Ronaldo as well, someone who did not win this award. So
No,
definitely really, really class. So he said, I'm delighted. This is a reward that has global value, but I'm keeping my feet on the ground. I still have a lot to learn above from all of my teammates in a fantastic midfield like Arturo Vidal, Xabi Alonso, Thiago, and Joshua Kimmich. So he does donate this award to his golden boy for his family. So as I mentioned, a great, great year Renato Sanchez has had. He won the Euros with Portugal. He helped Benfica win the Portuguese league last year. And now he gets transferred over to Bayern Munich. So he hasn't really played a full 90 minutes for the Germans, but definitely tough competition to break in that midfield. But a great, great season for Renato Sanchez. Congrats on winning the Golden Boy Award.
Congratulations, sir, and thank you for playing for my favorite Bundesliga team. You are enjoyed.
Yeah, so he breaks into a group with some great, great winners of past. Last year we had Anthony Martial from France, who plays for Manchester United. The year before that we have Raheem Sterling while he was on Liverpool, now of Manchester City. The year before,
big name here.
Oh, we'll get to that list. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. But then before that, Paul Pogba in 2013, Mario Götze is a former award winner, Lionel Messi in 2005, and
don't forget Mario Balotelli.
Well, Balotelli's maybe having a resurgence with Nice. They sit top of League One right now. So, I mean, definitely Balotelli's doing good things in France. But then the one you're mentioning...
Raphael van der Vaart.
I don't think you were trying to go there. But
well, actually, I was referring to Mario Götze when I was saying that, and Paul Pogba. But I know what you're going for here, and that's Waynold Rooney.
Waynold.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney, who won the award in 2014. So congrats to Renato Sanchez. Big, big things. Just 19 years old, playing for Bayern Munich already.
Yeah. Of course, this award goes to anybody, not anybody, but you have to be under 21 and under to play in the European's national top tier to be eligible for this. So yeah, hopefully, it looks as of right now, he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Definitely a lot. So actually, Alex, we have some breaking news.
Do we?
And it revolves around the Ballon d'Or. We actually have our full list now because we have all 30 entrants.
All right, let's hit it. Let's hit it.
Great storylines. Okay, so let's just some of these names, and then we'll do predictions as well. So some of these names: Sergio Aguero of Manchester City, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang of Borussia Dortmund, Gareth Bale of Real Madrid. He's one of a few Real Madrid members on this list.
I imagine they're okay. They're pretty okay.
As you would imagine, being the defending Champions League winners.
Excuse me, yeah.
Gigi Buffon, the legendary goalkeeper of Italy for Juventus, Cristiano Ronaldo, Kevin De Bruyne of Manchester City, Paulo Dybala of Juventus, Diego Godin, the great center back for Atletico Madrid, Antoine Griezmann having a career European and Spanish sort of campaign last year for France, Gonzalo Higuain of Napoli and now Juventus, Zlatan Ibrahimovic of PSG and Manchester United, Andres Iniesta, the legendary Spanish midfielder for Barcelona, another Spaniard, Koke, for Atletico Madrid, Toni Kroos, the German for Real Madrid, Robert Lewandowski of Bayern Munich and Poland, Hugo Lloris of Tottenham and France, the defending PFA Player of the Year in England, Riyad Mahrez of Algeria, the defending champion of Barcelona and Argentina, Lionel Messi, Luka Modric from Croatia and Real Madrid, Thomas Muller of Bayern Munich and Germany, and then some of our last ones here. Go ahead.
I was just going, woo.
Oh, for Muller, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Another German here, Manuel Neuer, one of the best goalies in the world for Germany and for Bayern Munich. Neymar, definitely not a surprise. He's on there. Dimitri Payet of West Ham and France had a great season for the Hammers last year and a great Euros for France. Pepe from Real Madrid, obviously winning the European finals and the Champions League final last year. And then Paul Pogba of Manchester United. Alex, excited about that. And of France.
Not as much as the German national team, guys. Paul Pogba,
and then our last five is Rui Patricio from Sporting Portugal.
Yeah.
And then Sergio Ramos, the center back from Real Madrid. A lot of Real Madrid guys on here.
Obviously, yeah.
Luis Suarez from Barcelona. Not surprised he's on there after the season he had last year.
Yeah,
over 50 goals.
If anything, he's really just taking a bite out of this year's competition, you know?
And a guy who's having a party is Jamie Vardy, because he is on the short list here from Leicester City and England. That? And then rounding out the list of 30, the Chilean midfielder Arturo Vidal.
I call him the Chilean volcano.
Maybe because his hair is so pokey with a mohawk. Mm-hmm. So I like what you did there.
What's up with what is no Ozil? No Mesut Ozil, just leaving him out, but Payet's in?
Mesut Ozil gets left off of the team of the season last year.
He's got 11 goals and 9 assists this year.
And
it's better than Payet, except for Payet.
And he gets left off of the Ballon d'Or. I guess he's like the biggest snub. I guess you could say. Payet had a good debut season, and I think it's because
15 goals and 19 assists. The only thing he has more. Like I said, Ozil has 11 and 9, but. Come on, man.
I guess it's because Payet, I think, went farther in the Euros. Obviously, France runners-up and Germany losing in the semifinal, obviously, to France. So maybe that had some influence there. But you know what, Alex? Whether Ozil is on this list or Payet is on this list, do they have a shot of winning?
No.
Come on.
No, sir, they don't.
Okay, this award, last 8 years.
It's going to Pogba, okay?
Come on. The last 8 years... This award has come down to two guys.
Yep.
Either Lionel Messi, who has 5, and Cristiano Ronaldo, who has 3. Mm-hmm. It's going to come down to one of those two again, okay?
My guess is Ronaldo's getting his 4th.
I think Cristiano Ronaldo wins this year. He won the European Championships with Portugal. He won the Champions League final with Real Madrid. I give it to Cristiano Ronaldo. I think Messi finishes 2nd.
Yep.
And I put Luis Suarez at 3rd. I think he'll be that other finalist in the Ballon d'Or when they announce it in January.
Okay, I can dig that. I can agree with you on that.
I think it comes down to either Suarez or Neymar in the finals, and I think it'll go to Suarez.
Okay.
I think he had just a better year than Neymar. Although Neymar did win the Olympics, with Brazil, that's a good accomplishment. They'll probably get him some more points as the voting goes on, but I give it to Suarez. I put him in the team of the year as well. So
wow.
And we'll obviously break that down when that gets revealed the same night of the Ballon d'Or in January. So we'll talk about that a couple months now.
All right. I like it.
I hope you do.
Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. We'll have to find out then. Are you ready to take our last break, Benjamin?
I am.
All right. We're going to do that. We're going to come back and we're going to preview and recap some games of the past weekend and the upcoming weekend as we sit here now on a Monday. We'll do that in just a minute here at the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, we're back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast, and just like every week, we're going to recap games of the weekend and preview, in a sense, some of the upcoming games real quick for you, too. As always, we start with the Premier League.
Definitely.
We had games on Saturday. We had games on Sunday. No Friday games this week, though. Actually,
and no Monday games either.
Yeah, no Monday games either. So let's start with Friday. Bournemouth and Tottenham, a draw. Tottenham takes a perfect opportunity to get some points in the league, and they don't capitalize. They squander that opportunity. And then we look at Arsenal and Middlesbrough, and they draw as well. Arsenal, a team that is currently sitting in second place with Man City, also blew a chance at some points there with Middlesbrough, who sit currently, as it stands, at 17th at the table.
Just above the relegation zone.
Just above the relegation zone, yeah, exactly. Tottenham loses to Bournemouth, who is at 10th. So definitely both those teams lose an opportunity to get some points in favor of them on the table. Leicester City defeats Crystal Palace 3-1. West Ham over Sunderland 1-0. Stoke City over Hull City 2-0. Swansea City and Watford also drew 0-0. Burnley FC and Everton 2-1. In favor of Burnley FC. Liverpool over West Brom 2-1. And then we move to the Sunday matchups. Man City and Southampton 1-1 draw. Again, a team that definitely misses an opportunity for some points to separate themselves, especially from Arsenal, who is right on their tail, as well as Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham, all separated by 1 point as we sit here. Sorry, I went through that quick. As we sit here now, Southampton currently sitting at 8, so it's not like they're near relegation, but definitely lower. And then Chelsea absolutely manhandling the Red Devils in Man United.
4-0 that game.
4-0, and I feel like they're still scoring right now.
They might be. I mean, they got off to a bang. Pedro scores in 30 seconds. You have Gary Cahill scoring as well. Eden Hazard with a beautiful goal on the left side. And then N'Golo Kante, little Bill, N'Golo Kante, just absolutely cuts right through Chris Smalling, a good center back. Mm-hmm. And they absolutely destroy Jose Mourinho's return to Stamford Bridge. Obviously, he brought 3 Premier League titles to Chelsea. Now he's back with Man United. And it was the game of the weekend, and it was the blowout of the weekend, honestly. 4-0, the biggest gap in every Premier League game this week. So it's honestly, when you look at Premier League match day number 9, and now you compare it to the table, the big winners of this day are definitely Liverpool and definitely Chelsea. You mentioned the top 5, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham, in that order, all separated by 1 point. You have City, Arsenal, and Liverpool with 20, and then you have Chelsea and Tottenham with 19. You have Tottenham, who are still unbeaten after their 0-0 draw against Bournemouth, but sit 5th in the table. Definitely disappointing result for the Spurs. But really, I guess you can say it's a disappointing result for everyone at the top, with the exception of Chelsea and for Liverpool, because big opportunities to gain points. You had Arsenal draw 0-0 with Middlesbrough. We mentioned Bournemouth and Tottenham, and then you had Man City and Southampton draw 1-1. So kind of a disappointing day for all those teams above. But we definitely saw some big wins from Chelsea and from Liverpool. So a big day for those respective clubs.
Looking forward to this weekend. We do have games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. No Friday games to speak of. The big day being Saturday. We have Sunderland and Arsenal, Watford and Hull City, West Brom and Man City, Man United and Burnley FC, Tottenham, Leicester City, Middlesbrough, Bournemouth, and Crystal Palace against Liverpool. Moving to Sunday, we have Everton and West Ham, Southampton and Chelsea, and the lone game on Monday, Stoke City and Swansea City.
Yeah, a couple of the big games here. You definitely have to look at Tottenham and Leicester City. Mm-hmm. A big game for Tottenham, trying to stay near the top. Leicester City still trying to find their form with a 3-1 win last week, so over Crystal Palace. So definitely a good result for them to try and get back on track in the league. And then I guess you can look at Sunday's game between Southampton and Chelsea. Southampton, even without Ronald Koeman as their manager now, definitely still fighting and clawing their way in the Premier League and providing 8th, providing quality results every week and not really getting blown out by anybody. Always a tough game. And for Chelsea, coming off their emotional high of a 4-0 victory over Man United, hopefully they can keep things going for the Blues and for their supporters by putting in a good result against a tough team.
Very true. Excuse me. All right, let's move to the Bundesliga. Friday we had matchups, Saturdays we had matchups, and Sunday we had matchups. Friday being the lone day of one game. Eintracht defeated Hamburger 3-0. Pretty handed win there. Moving to Saturday, FC Wolfsburg did lose to Darmstadt 3-1. Olgenstadt and Borussia Dortmund drew 3-3. Bayer Leverkusen loses one big to Hoffenheim 3-0 in favor of the home team there, Hoffenheim. Hertha BSC defeats FC Cologne 2-1. SC Freiburg defeats FC Augsburg 2-1. Bayern Munich defeats Borussia Mönchengladbach 2-0. And then we move to Sunday, RB Leipzig over Werder Bremen 3-1, and FC Schalke over Mainz 3-0.
Couple of good results here. One for RB Leipzig. This is the side that just got promoted.
Yeah.
We featured them last week. They sit only 2 points back, and they're still unbeaten. I think, eventually, I think their quality, some of their talents, maybe going to falter. Definitely riding an emotional high right now. No one expected them to be in this position at all.
Oh, no.
So I think maybe some of that pressure will get to them. Obviously, the goal for them is to stay in Division 1 as opposed to the Bundesliga second division. And I think they're going to be there, obviously putting in a good performance here. And then you look at Dortmund, they have a draw 3-3 against
Ingolstadt.
There we go. You're way better with these German things than I am.
My dad's full German.
Exactly. So we have a 3-3 draw. Dortmund have to come back down 2-0. You have the American Christian Pulisic get a goal there in the 90th minute to make it 3-3. So they draw, and really they're just kind of falling back in the table now with 4 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. They sit with 14 points, 6 points off the top with Bayern Munich. You got to imagine that Bayern Munich eventually going to start running away with this, and Dortmund are the only team that can kind of compete with them, but they're really faltering, already 6 points back. That's a lot when you're looking at a team like Bayern, who are still unbeaten and only giving up 4 goals in the whole entire league.
Yeah, They're playing pretty well. As the table stands currently, Bayern Munich in first place there with 20 points, RB Leipzig 18, Hertha BSC 17, Hoffenheim 16, and FC Cologne round out the top 5 with 15, followed closely there by Borussia Dortmund and Eintracht with 14, respectively. Looking at some games this weekend, we have Friday action with Borussia Mönchengladbach taking on Eintracht. We have Saturday action, it's the big day, in the Bundesliga. We have FC Wolfsburg and Bayer Leverkusen taking on one another, Werder Bremen and SC Freiburg, Darmstadt and RB Leipzig, Mainz and Ingolstadt being the home team on that one. These are early games, as a matter of fact, too, over here on the West Coast, 6:30 a.m. for us on Saturday. FC Augsburg and Bayern Munich, and Borussia Dortmund and FC Schalke with one another there on Saturday. And then Sunday we have Hoffenheim and Hertha BSC and FC Cologne and Hamburger. All on Sunday.
Definitely some good games in the Bundesliga if you are a fan of German football.
Yeah, I would say definitely a big game for Borussia Dortmund against Schalke. Dortmund, again, in 6th place there. They need some points. They need to start moving up on the board because they are starting to falter here. So big for them, and definitely, any game that Bayern Munich is playing is always a big game in the Bundesliga. And then Werder Bremen as well. Werder Bremen currently sitting at all the way down at 15 with only 7 points. They need to make some noise or they're going to be in danger of getting relegated. So.
Yeah, Werder Bremen giving up the most goals in the Bundesliga with 21. Definitely not too good.
Oh, no, not good at all. We have La Liga matchups this past weekend. Osasuna and Real Betis on Friday, 2-1 in favor of Real Betis there. Espanyol and Eibar, 3-3 draw. Valencia loses to Barcelona, 3-2. Granada and Sporting Lisbon, 0-0 is a 0-0 draw there for them. Real Sociedad over Alaves, 3-0. Moving to Sunday, we had Celta Vigo over Deportivo, 4-1. Sevilla over Atletico Madrid, 1-0. Villarreal over Las Palmas 2-1. Malaga over Leganés 4-0, and Real Madrid continuing their just impressive start over Athletic Bilbao 2-1.
Yeah, Real Madrid sit top of the La Liga table by 1 point now over Sevilla, who put in a great performance yesterday over Atletico Madrid. They win 1-0, as you mentioned. Koke for Atletico Madrid gets sent off, so they were a man down. They give up only their 4th goal of the entire league and their first loss. So Sevilla continue their impressive form. They're still unbeaten. Not unbeaten, but just 1 loss. As I said, only 1 point behind Real Madrid, who got a win yesterday. They had a goal from Alvaro Morata there in the 90th minute to propel them to that victory. He's really providing worth, Alvaro Morata, as really just kind of a substitute, a super sub behind Karim Benzema, the former Juventus player, and then having his second stint now here with Real Madrid. The big one here is Barcelona defeating Valencia 3-2. Valencia currently sitting at 15th with only 9 points. Mm-hmm. Barcelona have to sort of come back and claw in this game. Lionel Messi scores a penalty in stoppage time to win the game for them. But the big one here is Andrés Iniesta, who's actually on the short list for the Ballon d'Or we mentioned in the last segment. He goes down with a knee injury. He tore some ligaments in that knee. He's going to be out about 3 months for the reigning Spanish champions. So that's definitely not good. They're going to have to put someone else in that midfield. I would assume it would be Arda Turan, formerly of Atletico Madrid, the Turkish midfielder. He's a really good player, got a lot of great mechanics, but he's not Andrés Iniesta. No one can really replace him. So they're going to need some people to step up while he's out for 3 months in the Champions League and in La Liga. Definitely a tough thing to do. So we mentioned Real Madrid currently sitting top of La Liga with 21 points. Sevilla in second with 20. Barcelona and Villarreal with 19. And then Atletico Madrid, who came into the weekend as the leaders in the table, currently in 5th now with 18 points after a loss to Sevilla.
Very true. Looking towards this weekend, we have games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, not to mention Monday. Leganés over and Real Sociedad play on Friday. We have Sporting Lisbon and Sevilla, Atletico Madrid and Malaga, Alaves and Real Madrid and Barcelona and Granada, all on Saturday. Sunday, we have Eibar and Villarreal, Atletico Bilbao and Osasuna, Real Betis and Espanyol, and Las Palmas and Celta Vigo all on Sunday, and then the weekend cap being on Monday, Deportivo and Valencia facing off against one another.
Definitely some big, important games in Spain in La Liga. So real quick, we'll talk about the MLS playoffs here before the break. It is obviously our league here in the United States. We have to talk about them. We have our playoff system a little different than every other league. At the end of the year, you sort of look at the team who is at the top of the table and crown them the champions. Here in the MLS, we go to playoffs, which is traditional of all American sports, really.
Starts on Wednesday.
Definitely. So we have FC Dallas as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. They have a bye week. The Colorado Rapids are number 2 in the Western Conference. They as well have a bye week. And then we have the LA Galaxy and the Real Salt Lake.
They are facing off against one another.
A 3 versus 6 matchup. That game, as you mentioned, will be on Wednesday.
As well as Toronto FC and Philadelphia on Wednesday as well.
That's the 3 versus 6 over on the Eastern Conference.
Yes, sir.
So in the Western Conference, we have the Seattle Sounders, the 4 seed. They were sitting in 7th in the West at the All-Star break, and now they jump up with a strong second half, and they are in 4th. They will be facing Sporting Kansas City, who are in 5th in the Western Conference. And then over on the Eastern Conference side, we have the New York teams absolutely dominating. The Red Bulls are the 1 seed, and New York City FC with Andrea Pirlo, David Villa, Frank Lampard.
All those great players. Yeah, all those real good guns.
They are in 2nd in the Eastern Conference. You mentioned Toronto, number 3 against Philadelphia, number 6, and then DC United, number 4 against Montreal Impact at 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a big week in terms of playoff soccer there for them.
Yeah, and we'll have to obviously update you on next week's show because we're going to be having, at least in the semifinals here of the conferences, we're going to be having the first leg already done of the competition. So we'll obviously update you on the scores, some of the goal scores in that game, and where they fit going into the second leg in each conference semifinal in the Major League Soccer.
Yeah, man, I can't wait.
I am too. It's exciting. The MLS is really moving up in the world. Obviously, we were at the All-Star game this summer, and we talked about that in a couple of shows. So they're doing a lot of great, great things in the United States with soccer.
Yeah, it's just growing and growing. All right, but you know what? That's it for us today. We're done. We're back on Monday.
We're back next Monday on Halloween.
On Halloween. So be in your costumes when you listen to our show because maybe we'll be in some when we record it. We'll be recapping this weekend's games that we just previewed for you. We'll be pretty much previewing the Champions League games next week, but we also will recap, just like we did today, the games that start tomorrow and Wednesday. And you know what? Maybe we'll even tell you what happens in those MLS games that we just talked about.
Yeah, and anything else that comes up. We have a lot of great storylines happening every day. So
very true. But until then, we'd like to thank you for listening. As always, I'm Alex.
I am Ben.
And we will see you guys in a week from now on Monday, October 31st, Halloween.
Yes.
In America, of course.
Well, if you celebrate anywhere else, too. But at the GSMC Soccer Podcast.
You guys have a good rest of your day, a good rest of your week. Enjoy your football, and we will see you then.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.